We're going to take a look at this morning's papers. We're going to speak to Vicky Beeching, who's the writer and broadcaster. She's quite a few stories have caught her eye. But let's first of all take a look at the front pages, because Madeleine McCann, we've got the Crime Watch programme happening tomorrow evening. This is on the front of many of the papers, isn't it? Yeah, there's a picture on the front of the Telegraph from the reconstruction. It's supposed to be the most detailed reconstruction for television that's been done yet of the Madeleine McCann case. And you can see there a young actress, 3 years old, who's reenacting moments of Madeleine's last day on a tennis court where her mum and dad were playing tennis. Their main story, though, is what they say is that the true scale of European immigration. They say there are more than 500,000, 600,000 EU immigrants, migrants in the UK not working, without jobs at the moment. Quick look at the Sunday Mirror. The Sunday Mirror has said that there has been arrests. This hasn't been completely panned out yet, but that's what the Sunday Mirror is leading with. The Sunday Times have a picture there of a very patriotic-looking Richard Branson flying the flag, which we can now call either Union Jack or Union Flag, according to some new rules this morning. He says, "Goodbye, Britain, I'm a tax exile." And it claims that he's quitting the country to live permanently in Necker on his island. He's a shy man, isn't he? He's probably seen the weather forecast, to be fair. This is one of the stories that Vicky's taken a look at. Sexism, every lad's mag helps. This is Romola Garai taking on Tesco. And Vicky, this is something that's caught your eye as well on the inside of the pages. It's been quite spoken about quite a lot, hasn't it? And it's interesting that lots of high-profile people are getting involved in this campaign. They are. It's a fantastic campaign. It's led by UK Feminista. You're in support of it, and a very big supporter. I've been tweeting a lot about it, and actually got quite a lot of trolling in response. So some really nasty stuff, actually, from people saying they felt like these magazines should be sold. But we had a victory recently. The Co-op now have to have modesty bags covering up these magazines, and this particular piece is talking about a meeting on Tuesday that will be held at the Houses of Parliament, where they'll be calling for Tesco's to actually stop selling the magazines Nuts and Zoo altogether. And the reasoning behind it is that it really perpetuates a culture of degrading women. And obviously some people will disagree with that, but I do agree that you know, things like these kind of degrading gender stereotypes can play into violence against women. Talking about women's issues, David Cameron has been criticised again for not having enough female MPs. He has. Interesting piece in the Mirror. It's just comparing how he's doing in terms of having women in his kind of lineup of ministers. He was hoping to do better in this ratio, but really isn't. 1 in 6 of his ministers are female. That's 25 out of 122. So the Tories at the moment only have 15% of women, whereas Labour are doing much better. Again, showing my bias. 14 out of 32 in their shadow cabinet are women. But this is a very important job of really putting under the microscope how many women are in these top jobs, because we need to be making sure that we have proper representation so that we're a proper democratic nation where women can take these important positions. And that's despite, I mean, the reshuffle at ministerial level. It was supposed to be David Cameron promoting more women in. Yeah. They're saying it's still not enough. I think that's why there's such a big disappointment. We were really hoping we'd see that kind of bias change, and so far we haven't. But it has increased, hasn't it? Slightly, but I guess for someone like me who wants to see 50-50, we're still quite a long way away. Sure. Independent on Sunday. This is interesting because Disney and some of these big Hollywood studios have embraced female characters recently, haven't they? And yet this is not such a positive spin on that. It's not. I'm such a big fan of Disney, and I love the princesses, and I grew up with them. But if you recently remember, they came under fire for Merida, the heroine from Brave. She started off as this kind of straggly, you know, ginger-haired tom girl, and then suddenly they gave her a makeover, and she turned into this, you know, kind of classic sort of tiny-waisted, really kind of quite sexualised, even more so than in that picture I've seen for Merida. And they've come under fire again because one of their senior animators has said that it's very difficult to animate women because we have so many emotions. And apparently he's had an interview on a blog saying that men are much more easy to animate as cartoons because they're much simpler. So that's created a bit of a storm. And one of their female... Well, he wasn't being critical, though, of women, was he? Well, slightly. I think he's saying that actually it's a bit of a... it's difficult, and basically that they struggle with it every single time. Whereas there's a female animator quoted in there saying, actually, if they didn't try and make women look so perfect, their idea of perfection, they might be able to have a few more emotions more easily, because they're trying to make them look, you know, stick thin and shiny and glossy. And if they could actually just look a bit more natural, they think the job of animating them would actually be easier. Well, it would be, wouldn't it? Stop putting all those expectations. Next time you come back, you're going to talk to us about the 7 stages of marriage. I'm quite interested in that. I wonder which stage. Well, not that we're married.
Yeah.
Our marriages are in.
We're certainly not going to say.
No, and we're certainly not going to get there. Vicky, good to speak to you. Speak to you in about an hour.
Thanks.
Thanks.